In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a perfect basic senator top. I compiled about 11 steps that we are going to follow on how to make the senator top. Before we jump right into the sewing, I would love to show you some things that you need before you can sew the basic of a senator top. Now, this is the front panel of my senator top. If you have not watched my video on how to cut a perfect senator top, check through my videos and watch it before the sewing part. Now, here is the front panel. What you are seeing on the chest of the front panel is called head stay, or you can use gum stay. Here is the back panel of the senator top, and here is the sleeve, which is the short sleeve that I was talking about earlier. Here is the sleeve of the senator top, and the next thing is our placket. Here is our placket for the senator top. I will make a video on how to make a perfect placket, and here is my small placket. Here is my neck piping. This is what I'm going to use to pipe the neck of the senator top. I will make a video on how to do this, and that is all. The next thing is the steps to follow in order for us to sew a senator top. Step 1 says create a placket opening on the front panel. This is the front panel. I'm going to create opening on the front panel. The opening is the placket opening, and placket opening ranges from 8 to 9 inches. So I'm going to mark 8 inches here. The placket opening is 8 inches, so I will mark 8 inches on my front panel as shown. So the next thing I'm going to do, where I mark, I'm going to give it a notch as shown. Then create the opening. Here is the placket opening as our step 1. Hope you can see the opening clearly. Now, let's go to the next step, which is step 2. Place your back panel on the sewing machine with the right side of the fabric facing you. Now, here is my back panel. I'm going to place it on my sewing machine with the right side of the fabric facing you or facing me. So here is the right side of the fabric. The wrong side is facing down, while the right side is facing me. So now let's go to the next step. Place your front panel on the back panel and allow the wrong side of the fabric to face you. Here is the wrong side of the front panel. I'm going to place it on my back panel. Then I have done the placement. I'm going to the next step, which is our step 4. Sew along both the two shoulders. Here are the shoulders. I'm going to sew along this shoulder. Yes. Remember, this is the basic of the making of a senator top. sew it like an half inches. I'm done with the first shoulder. I'm going to the second shoulder. Yes, I'm done with the stitching or the sewing of the two shoulders. So I'm going to turn it to the right side of the fabric and top stitch it. Make sure where you stitch is going to be facing the back panel as shown. Then top stitch it. I have done that already. So now I'm going to the next step, which is our step 5. Measure and trim to your desired neck measurements. I'm going to combine the neck as shown and trim it to my desired neck measurement. Here is it. You can also measure it like this. So I'm going to trim it so that I will get my desired neck measurement. Trim it along the neck. Then measure it again until you have your desired neck measurement. Now I have 8.5 inches, and 8.5 inches plus 8.5 inches, that will be 17 inches. The next thing I'm going to do is our step 6. Step 6 says cut your piping 2 inches longer than your measured neck. Now here is my piping. Make sure your piping is 2 inches longer than your neck measurement. Since my own neck is 17, then my piping will be 19, or if it is more than 19, there is no problem. You can cut out the excesses after you pipe the neck. Now here is how to do the piping, which is our step 7. Here is the right side of the senator top. In order for me to do the piping, I'm going to turn it to the wrong side of the senator top as shown in the video. Here is my piping. Place it on the neck and sew along the neck while following the piping. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Yes, I have done that already. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my fabric to the right side. I'm going to pipe the neck from the wrong side to the right side as shown. I'm done with the piping of the neck of my senator top. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out the excess on the piping. Here is the excess that I'm talking about. Cut it out and do the same here. Iron it so that it will be look very smooth. Now we are done with the piping. The next thing is to iron it down. But before you do that, you turn it to the wrong side of the fabric first and iron the wrong side of the piping. Yes, I have done that already. Now turn it to the right side. Here is the right side of the senator top. Always remember to spray a water on it before you do it. I'm going to spray the water on the piping. Make sure there is enough water on it. Now I'm going to iron it down as shown. Now turn it to the back and do the same thing here. And we have our neck. You can see how round it is. I'm going to fix the placket. You first of all put the small placket before you put the big placket. Now here I place the senator top on my machine with the right side facing me. Then on the left side of the senator top, I'm going to fix this small placket, and this is how to do it. Here is the placket. Hold this portion and put it under the placket opening, that is from the wrong side. Then you sew it, then turn it to the right side. This is what I'm talking about. You're going to sew it along this place. Yes, I'm done with that. The small placket. I'm going to turn it to the right side. Here is how to turn it over where we sew. Yes, finally I'm done with the small placket. I'm going to the big placket, which is the second placket. But before I do that, on the placket I'm going to measure 8 inches as my placket opening, and I'll sew it measured from here to this point, 8 inches as shown and mark. Now, on my right side of the placket opening, I'm going to put the placket on the wrong side of the fabric as shown, then sew it, then turn it to the right side. I'm done with that. I'm going to turn the placket from the wrong side to the right side. Then here is my placket. I'll place it on the small placket and stitch it like an half inches. Then stop. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fully sew the placket on the fabric. Or on my senator top. Here is the placket. I'm going to sew it from this place around the Please note the end of the placket. It must rest on the middle of the senator top. Then I'm going to stop where I stitched before, and that will be my placket opening. Cut all these small threads to make sure that your work is neat. And that is all for my placket. The next thing is to join the sleeve. So first of all, I will have to fold the sleeve. Here is the wrong side of the sleeve. I'm done with the folding. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to join the sleeve. Here is the two shoulder of the senator top. Then give it a notch as shown. Also do the same on the second side. Join this point together, then give it a notch. So the next thing is to join the sleeve. I've already notched the sleeve, so I'm going to place it where I notch as shown. Make sure they are equal, and the sewing allowance here is half inches sewing allowance. So do the same thing on the other side. Now I have joined the two sleeves already. The next thing I'm going to do is to sew along the inseam of the senator top. Here is the inseam of it. You join the two ends together and take your sleeve muzzle measurement. In this my case, the muzzle measurement, my muzzle measurement is 13.5 inches, and that will, when I divide it by 2, that will be 6 3/4 inches. Always remember that you add 1 inch for sewing allowance when you were cutting the senator top. Make sure you put that 1 inch all round. 1 inch sewing allowance. 1 inch. You can also mark it. Now remember the slit or the opening of the senator top. Mark your 1 inch also. And here is my opening. This is where I'm going to stop. That will be my hip line. Cut out all the threads for a nice finishing. I'm going to this second sleeve, second inseam. Measure your sleeve muscle also. And sew it down 1 inch for your allowance. If there's any excess on the sleeve, make sure you remove them. Cut out all the threads for a nice finishing. almost done. The next thing, which is the final step, is to do the hemming. You know, when we were cutting the senator top, we put 2 inches for the folding. So I'm going to fold this fabric 2 inches on this senator top, 2 inches upward. 2 inches. Also do the same thing here. Two inches. Make sure you backstitch at the end of your sewing. And that is the end of the tutorial, the making of a senator top.